Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? I really ask this question a lot and I don't normally get a response. So make sure you tell me what's going on in your life because it's important. My name is Boit and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology Retold action. In the left-hand corner of the map, spawning in as the blue Ra. From the Aces team, it is the Count Von Count. He is the Count Man, one of the most wild Age of Mythology players out there. Very, very solid player. Super excited to see what he's going to be able to come up with. The Ra. His opponent today in the red color playing as Susanoo. It is Human Resources himself, Hell's Ravage. Now, the reason I ask you what's going on is because I am in a truckload of pain. So if you see me doing this throughout today's cast or today's stream or just in general, just know I'm dying and I need someone to help me. So if there's any physiotherapists out there that want to come and visit me in Perth, I would love you to come and just ruin my shoulder and fix my life because that's what I need right now. It's not raining here, Lebedoi, but it is night and we're in a good mood, but we are in pain and that's fine. Moving right along here into this game, we are on the map Alfheim. A nice defensive map, but this spawn isn't that. All of the gold mines are nice and forward. There's kind of a safe-ish gold mine here. If you can get a nice wall up, get that protected, then Ra can enjoy this town center. So you have to be prepared to be thinking about how we're going to defend this area from any big early attacks. Obviously a wall is going to be nice. Potentially also some tower shenanigans behind it could be really cool as well. Just a couple of little towers to be placed in here if necessary. So there is some two town center angles here. That being said, the same can't really be said. I mean, kind of can be said for Hell's Ravage, but generally you don't want to go 2 TC if your opponent goes 1 TC as Susanoo. So this could end up being an incredibly aggressive map or a game or a really, really defensive game. Basically it's all up to the decisions that Count Von Count is going to make here. Now, when you're playing against Susanoo, second town center is a little bit risky as Ra. You need to make sure you have a handful of priests out so that you can deal with any sort of early Kitsune. And you need to make sure you're fast enough on that town center as well, such that you don't have to deal with any early Naginata riders. So whatever you're doing with Ra, I've seen this on Reddit. I've seen the sentiment on the stats on the win rate of Ra. I've seen a whole bunch of like thoughts on this whole thing. And you guys can tell me that I'm being an idiot and Ra's really weak. I don't think Ra's like the strongest god. I don't think Ra deserves his low win rate at the moment. But the reason I think that Ra has such a low win rate is mostly down to the fact you need to just know what you need to do without scouting it. And this isn't like I need to guess what my opponent is doing. It's I need to know what my opponent's god can do. Is the possibilities that my opponent's god has, and how can I play around the whole of it without throwing too much of an advantage over to my opponent. So you need to be able to just know everything. That's what makes this god so hard. That's why this god has got a low win rate. I genuinely don't believe it's about power levels at this point. But, you know, that's going to be my stance for the time being. We'll see how the game's going to go. We'll see what Hell's Ravage is doing. Hell's is going for crushing waves. Now, if you spot this coming through nice and early as the Ra, it does give you a little bit of an inclination as to what's going on. So all you got to do is click on the Kitsune. If you see it and you see that divine damage, now you know that a couple of Kitsune are going to be a threat. How do you defend against that? Get a couple of priests out and get your walls up. They are very, very useless units if your opponent, or if you wall against them, basically. They're a lot of favor. Well, I say they're a lot of favor. They don't cost that much favor, but they are a lot of resources for what they actually are at 105 resources. So they are a little bit, how you going? Nonetheless, we are seeing Hell's Ravage opening double guardhouse here. Now, this is interesting. I think Hell's Ravage, he's got an interesting god here for Susanoo. I like the idea. I think it's really, really cool. It does play around a one town center idea from the Ra, and it also gives you an option to go and do some things against the 2 town center. The idea here is 1 Yudo plus Bushi or plus Yumi. This can be really, really powerful because what Count's going to want here, as he has managed to catch a priest out in the middle of the map, what Count is going to want here is a nice quick heroic age and getting to Chariot Archers. That's the main goal of playing Ra versus Japan, in my opinion. Those are the units that are really hard to kill for Japan, and they allow you to sort of take fights without actually taking fights because you can poke, you can get damage done, and all the other good stuff. As the Kitsune wandering in, Villager going to just pop behind and finish up his wall. And there is a Wadget in here as well to defend. So no real answers here for Hells, no real advantage. But what Hells can do, and I do think it's quite strong, is he can go into a bunch of 1 Yudo and he can break this position down and he can potentially force Count off of this gold mine. But what Count's doing, which I love even more than what Hell's Ravage is doing, is he's leaving his home gold mine here, which allows him to leave this position whenever he wants and go back into his main base. He can sack this town center to a bunch of 1 Yudo, no problems, because he's still got 2,000 gold remaining. As the Bushi coming in here, that Pharaoh, very, very powerful defensive unit. Even though the Bushi will be able to outrange him, you got to be careful to stay out of firing on that one, as the Wadget trying to lone defend this. Oftentimes that's the secret to playing Ra, is figuring out how to min defend these sorts of attacks, as the Yumi Archer's coming through, and that's going to be a dead Pharaoh there. Great pick for Hell's Ravage. He's going to break down this wall. He's still a little bit light on the 1 Yudo, so I don't really know what he's going for. He could be going for the Hujin route, going for a whole bunch of Oni to try and break through. A nice advantage of playing through Minakata Tomi, which is a little bit of an off-meta god. I think there's a couple of situations where it's really, really strong. But one of the big advantages, you've got a lot of extra food income, which allows you to spend all that extra favor on your Oni. So it does make a lot of sense to go that route, especially on a defensive map like this. And are we going to see that? It's going to be Raijin. So Raijin on this map, less effective just because it's so easily wallable. You get the 1 wall up here, you can get the house wall, you wall up into your main base, and those Raijin Raijus are just not going to be able to get a huge amount of value, as Count's just going to play a defensive game and get himself into a position where the myth units aren't going to be that effective. Nonetheless, Sobek is coming through, and I think this is... I brought this up maybe the other day with, I think it was maybe Isis, where I was like, the god that I like to go versus Atlantean as Egyptian is Sobek. Set already has the cheaper Migdols, but Sobek gives that sun-dried mud brick, which allows us to pump out Migdols. I love going Sobek for that, and that's another reason here against Japan. You want to be going for Sobek for those Migdols as well. Of course, Petsukos are also nice. Of course, the Camel Riders are also nice, but it's for the sun-dried mud brick so that you can really afford to pump those Migdols out and get the defense in. I think it's super, super important. But Migdol Stronghold now coming through, and Hell's Ravage... he's still gearing up for this 1 town center full all-in approach here, which I don't see it working. I don't see him pushing off this gold mine. But that doesn't mean that he can't not still play this game and continue in this game. Loses his 1 Yudo, it's not ideal. But he's not going to be able to push off of this gold mine. He's not going to be able to finish the game here, but he does have a really strong god power, and he's got a lot of sneakiness here to try and make something happen. Count's got the sort of the advantage, or the how do I put this? It's Count's game to lose at this point. Fundamentals, get your walls in, defend everything, play defense, get yourself extra migdols up, work towards this gold mine next, slowly start taking the map. You've got to be really, really careful is not the right word. What's the word? Diligent. You've got to just be inside your own lane here as the Egyptian against Japan. Slow, methodical, migdol pushing, and securing gold mine, securing map is the right way to go. Especially when your opponent's got this god power as well, Thunderburst. If you got a migdol nearby, you can just garrison, right? If you don't, then you have to run away from it. As the Chariot archers moving forward, I know what Count wants, and this is always something you're thinking in the back of your mind. Get out of the map, get some value with these Chariot archers, but they've only got 5 speed. These have 6.9 speed. You can't raid with these Chariot archers. They are not raiding units here in this game. And Hells shows his Raiju now, and Count will have to pull all the way back. He does have a little bit of defense here with the Wadgets and the Petsukos, as we've also got the Kusanagi to come in, and Hell's Ravage says, it's time to go. Another migdol coming down from Count, exactly what he needs to be doing. He still doesn't have himself that sun-dried mud brick though, so he's playing full price here, which you really shouldn't be doing, but nonetheless, he's going to pull back underneath this position, and Hells is going to get in here and get some real damage done. As now the Locust Swarm gets dropped down. That's going to be a huge amount of damage here. A great choke point for Count Von Count. His Chariot archers are getting close to getting picked off here from this lightning, this Thunderdome. He gets 1 pick as the rest are going to sit there into the main base. However, the Raiju are going to be searching for villagers to kill, and Count is being very risky over on this left side for the berries. No farms down just yet. He wants the food. Idle villagers in the main base. There are a couple of very low HP Raiju as these guys are checking in onto this spot. Can they find anything here is the big question. As, yeah, Count's next move here has to be to get farms, has to be to get himself priests, and just continue to play this defensive game here. Now the Raiju make their way over onto this side, and they will be... Oh, no. He misses the... No, he doesn't miss the villagers. The villagers will be attempting to retreat, and Hells misses them as they get back home. A little bit of luck there for our main man, Count Von Count, in this game, as the next move for Count has to be to get this gold mine. And again, this technology, I'm just going to keep on harping about it. The other thing is, hang on. Am I right on this? I am. The other thing that sun-dried mud brick does is it makes your farms even cheaper. So you want to get it literally as fast as you can before you put the farms down. There's probably a world where a fast sun-dried mud brick should do fast farm strategy exists, because those farms are dirt cheap. But nonetheless, now Hells is pushed back into his main base. The one really big saving grace for Hells in all of this is because he's got these myth units out, he hasn't really lost a whole lot of them. Because he's got them out, as these Chariot archers are going to start doing a lot of work, because he's got these myth units out, he's going to be getting himself to that Bushido very quickly. And Count Von Count has now been shown why slow and methodical wins the race here, as those Raiju come in and completely eliminate the Chariot Archer ball. And now Count's in a world of pain. That next tier of Bushido comes to 127 favor in the bank, almost enough for another Thunderburst. If he wants to go that route, he can go for more myth units as well. But at this moment, now Hell's Ravager's got the gold staff on the cards. This gold mine's got 3,000 gold left in it. Just make sure that this one doesn't ever get grabbed. And Count, he has to figure out how he's going to win these fights. As the villagers will be pulling back over onto this side. Raiju trying to make their way through here. As the priest can get just a little bit of damage in onto the Raiju. And as long as they're in range of the priests do deal with those very, very quickly. And funnily enough, the military differential is still pretty close. We'll see if Count is going to be able to get this position sorted out or not. He's got 1,000 food in the bank, 400 gold. He might be thinking about a Mythic Age. Getting a Son of Osiris in here seems like a really good idea. The only problem with it is Thunderburst, where it can disable the entirety of the army, and then you can just get in and snipe the Son of Osiris. But the Migdol will come up for Count. Probably needs to think about 2, and I'm going to say it again. Sun-Dyed Mudbrick. This is the whole game plan of Ra. It couldn't be any more the game plan of Ra in this matchup. And you've seen it multiple times. And Count is going for this move forward again. He's still looking for snipages. At the very least, he's got a nice Migdol stronghold on the back here. As long as he doesn't get too overzealous here, he should be okay. A couple of low HP Raiju to get focus down as well as he gets back underneath the position. Now he's good. We are starting to see some Naginata riders into the mix here. Unfortunately, if you don't go through Inari or Kami, you don't get Sashimon or Bannerman, which does mean that these Naginata riders lose a lot of their bonus, their benefit against the Egyptian Migdol army. The Chariot Archers, Camel Riders, these guys are going to be very effective. So now Count. He's showing right now exactly why you want these Chariot Archers versus Japan. This is everything. He's got himself that technology as well. Ballistics. So you can't get close to these Chariot Archers. They will erase your units very, very quickly. Hell's Ravage, very safe here. Grabs himself this gold mine. He is falling very far behind in terms of economy here. As now Count is up to 190 pop. The next move for Count, say it with me. Migdols. Get another gold mine sorted. Get this position. Get this town center. No need to get caught out in the middle of the map. Let's just keep securing gold mines. Play slowly here. There's no need to risk a fight out in the middle of the map where you're going to be allowing the Susanoo player, the Japanese player, to get to the next tier of Bushido. Hell sees the opportunity to get some very nice damage in here. That Thunderburst right next to the Migdol stronghold might not be a terrible idea at this point, but the units can dive through here and get out onto this side. Not going for it though. He's just going to be making a run for it up to the top. As the Pharaoh is on this position as well, right? Where is the Pharaoh? Is he dead? He's in the main base, but nonetheless, the army of Hells charging in here and can Count. He's got the stronger army. He's got more units, but he's taking a huge amount of damage from that god power. As the Kusanagi onto the back line, the army of Count is slowly dropping, but he is fighting underneath 1, maybe 2 Migdols here as more priests are coming in to try and finish off these Raiju. Villagers over onto this right side will get onto that gold mine. Another opportunity for Hells to get some raids and get himself back into this game from an economic standpoint. A lot of Bushido comes in, but Count holds. And Count looking for a little bit of a revenge attack. I don't think he needs to do this. Like, he's really playing aggressively at the moment as the villagers on the top have been spotted because the Naginata riders to come up, but Count very quick to retreat. He does have himself his survival equipment, but he doesn't have himself the skin of the rhino technology here. So he's missing on that one. I love this move over here. Another Migdol, another gold mine secured. Continuing along that route in this game is everything. On the flip side here, Hell's not grabbing a second town center so far. He's gotten lucky. He's still in this game because of the damage that he's been able to do. But every time he gets that damage and not dropping a town center, he's not able to basically keep the position, right? He has to now get another really good fight. As the villagers coming over for another Migdol. Still no Sun-Dried Mudbrick. As I bring it up for the 15 billionth time. We have got Osiris pre-queued. Count is a ways away from that. The wall's coming up. Perfect. Oh, a sneaky wall here from Hells, though. This could be very, very big If you can finish that wall off, get some Raiju in onto this position, get some actual units in onto this position and hit that gold mine, that can be nice. So Migdol will finish for Count. And it looks like Count is yet again making the same mistakes. Slow and steady wins the race here. These units are fast. He's caught out yet again. Another Kusanagi available as well so that Hell's Ravage can get another amazing engagement as Count turns in onto the fight. The priests are going to take out one Raiju. These Yati Spearmen are really, really effective at taking out those Camel Riders. You almost need to go into Spearmen here so that you can have a front line against those Yati Spearmen. As the Camel Riders will move up to the top side. Chariot Archers pop through. And a little bit of the garrison micro necessary here on the side of Count von Count. But even if Hells wins this fight, it doesn't really solve his problem. His problem is 30 villager differential. We've still got this gold mine with a little bit of gold. This one's secured. Our siege works coming through as well. As the Camel Riders attempting to sneak around and get those Oyumi on the back, they're not able to do so. And Count von Count will pull back. Allow the Migdols to get the damage done. He doesn't have crenellations yet either. Another amazing technology versus a cavalry user. It may allow the Migdol to get some serious bonus damage versus those cavalry units. Villagers are going to hang out on this gold mine, and it is spotted by the shrine here. So all those villagers will be falling, and that gives Hells quite a bit of an angle here as he now hits the next tier of Bushido. He's got access to another Thunderburst. He doesn't have Den drums though, which big missed opportunity here. If you're going to go for the God Power route, you got to get that technology in beforehand. As we do have a little bit of a raid over here, but the Raiju does pop in there to defend. And all the villagers on the right side go down. There's still a pretty significant villager advantage for Count, but he's just not able to take any decent fights in this game as the Thunderdome comes down yet again. And Count has to pull back ever so slightly. That all being said, now Osiris is on the way. That's a big boost for him. He's got 50 favor in the back. Another monument wouldn't go astray for mummies here. Mummies against this army would be amazing. As Hell's still not quite able to break through this position, but one thing that he is doing is he's forcing the gold to get expended. Now he can still get this gold all secured in the middle of the map. And if you can get that, that is an angle for victory here. Especially with this gold mine about to be expiring. But then again, how are you going to deal with that Son of Osiris now with no Thunderburst? You do have the Kusanagi at 30 favor, but no Thunderburst makes life very difficult here. Now the villagers for Count making their way over onto this side yet again. Can he get another Migdol over here? He does now have Sun-Dried Mudbrick though, so he's winning 450 gold per Migdol. I want to see what the farm costs here as well. 28 gold! Are you kidding me? OP! Son of Osiris now joining the battlefield. Champion Chariots coming in. A new kingdom also pre-queued. As the villagers have been spotted trying to get a castle over here, but Count's already sorted that out. A market also up for a trade route is a nice little way to go here to ensure you just never lose to a random mid-game gold starve. Move on to the bottom of the map. The nice little Shrine of the Hunt here, just hanging. Using a second to Shrine of the Hunt here is always valid. It is well worth it. Saves you 4 farms or more and increases the food gather rate. Look at these villages. 1.1 versus 0.77. Do have ourselves that champion camel riders coming. I say 4 villages because you can have 4 villages on the deer consistently without running out of food. Up onto the top side, still no Migdol here as the walls try and come up. And the Naginata riders coming in and saying, "Not today, Sonny Jim. You will not have this position," as the village is doing a little bit of a ring around the rosy here, allowing the chariot archers to get over and support. Still no skin of the rhino here. These villages are a little bit on the weak side. As the villagers finish up on that gold mine, going to move elsewhere. The Naginata riders to go down, and now Count can start moving over onto this gold mine and grabbing this position, grab the town center, grab this gold mine, and he can start pushing into the main base. As Hells, he is going up through Watatsumi, and after all is said and done, a game of mistakes and punishing mistakes, but also one player being in a better position than the other player, we've actually entered quite an equal sort of mythic age at this point. Watatsumi with the Typhoon to take out the army. Son of Osiris still alive at full HP. 3 town centers to 3 town centers, almost. 80 villages to 82 villages. Very, very close situation here. But one player's got chariot archers and the other player has Yumi horse archers. And while the Yumi horse archer does do more DPS at 15.8 versus 12.5, all I care about in the Archer War is the range. It's a stone gate. We'll get knocked down. One thing that does come from Watatsumi, however, is that asymmetric bows technology, which can boost the range as well as the damage of the Yumi horse archers here, as we've got the Typhoon. That does get dropped down on this spot, but a lot of these chariot archers managing to survive. And the Son of Osiris basically gets thrown there, but he does so much damage that even after the Mythic Age God power of Susanoo, or not of Susanoo, of Watatsumi comes through, Count manages to win the fight. Now we will have that asymmetrical bows to come in. And Count needs to secure... He's got a nice security of this bottom side. This is where I think Count is one of the best players in the world at Age Mythology, is his ability to just do so much on the map at once. He is incredibly quick. And it's not speed as in multitasking. He's very good at that nonetheless, but it's like speed with side builds and map control and things that do take tons of APM to get sorted out. He's all over the map right now, getting all of this sorted out. Random siege works going up. Another corner secured here. And Hell's Ravage is going to struggle with this gold mine. Very, very necessary for him, but he does have the Revenant Shinigami to come and help him out at this point. An incredibly strong unit, especially if you get that last, that upgrade for it. Once it gets to that 3rd tier, just keeps on coming back. Up onto the top side, Catapult's going to start tearing down these buildings, and you can just see that the Japanese economy just not competing here with the power that this Rare economy has. He's just continuously keeping himself at full pop. He's got all the units coming out. He's got all of that camel caravan on the way. He's already got himself 26 camel caravans here over onto this right side. Hells has to deal with this random wall, this random siege works, and all that other good stuff. The only thing that Count's missing here is securing this gold mine at the moment. He could also come in and grab this one. As the towers starting to come in, we've got guard towers in as well. armory upgrade check here as Count's missing his iron. Same too for Hells. Like I said, the game is in a fairly equal state as Hells does manage to get himself up to a fairly competitive amount of military here. Another Kusanagi coming down. This Hells, he still doesn't have himself Den drums. Den drums makes all these gold powers cheaper. He's been spamming them out. As we've got the siege engineers to come through. So his catapults can be even more effective. Now, one thing here to note is if you do go into this idea of 100 villages and getting yourself, if I could click these camera, and you get yourself 28 extra economy, 128 extra economy, you're just going to be floating resources. And a way to sort of artificially increase your population is Migdol is Watchtower or Guard Tower in this setting. So it's never really a bad idea to do what Count's doing and just go up above because you can just pump those buildings out. On to this side, the Camel Riders. Man, they do so much damage. They're fully upgraded. So they're just sitting under here just enjoying. They will die, but they get so many kills on that position there. And now the town center for Hells falls. He's got just the one gold mine remaining over here. This gold mine now gets secured for Count as he's slowly taking more of the map. Next to go is going to be the town center in this position as well. And Count will be jumping up to full 4 town center population incredibly fast. A final piece of the puzzle here for Count to secure is this position here. Of course, he can go for the main base if he wants to. It's not really any negatives for fighting the Japanese player at this stage in the game. Now all the armor upgrades. Does he have multiple armories? He's just got the one. Sometimes it's worth it to just drop a second armory when you're like, when you're in the Mythic Age, just so you can get those upgrades out. But it's a little bit of a nothing thing. And it just takes so long to get these 34 seconds for each of those armory upgrades. Cut it in half with an extra armory or something. The guard tower's up. Town center over here. Not going to be able to get grabbed just yet as the Shrine of the Hunt comes down. These wolves, they hurt. These are Mythic Age myth units. As I say that, they all die. But there's not really any other units here, so... But 20 damage. Of course, it's DPS. So 14 hack damage plus 0.7 divine per second is pretty good. Now Count is just sending units everywhere. And I don't know what else Hells can do as the Secrets of the Titans getting pre-queued. So there's a lot more resources to actually get that one out. You can buy them probably at the moment. Yeah, you could definitely buy the food in the at the moment to get to the Titan Age if he wants to. But realistically, just needs some security of this town center, some siege. And there's not a whole lot that Hell's Ravage can do here. He's just struggling. I mean, sometimes you like fighting it out as long as you possibly can. Is there any actual road to victory here for Hells? He has to get a corner. He has to get a trade route sorted. Once the talent center comes... Oh, the Yumi could deny this. They do come in. Just too slow. The town center now up for Count. He's already up to... Well, he'll be up to 260 pop very, very quickly. And also with the insane trade route, something you don't see very often from the Egyptian players is the mercenary. But if you got this much economy, this much gold income, why not? Why not? These guys are expensive, but why not? Another big doll for Count to come through. Over onto this left side, the Oyumi hanging in here. And that's going to be Hell's tapping out. Really, really fun game here from both players. A lot of lessons to learn. Things like Chariot archers aren't a raiding unit. Don't raid with them. You're going to lose them all. Catching your opponent out when you're behind on economy is an amazing way to keep taking these fights as Japan. So if you can let your opponent make the mistakes and capitalize, potentially here, if Hells had just dropped the town center a little bit earlier on in this game, he would have not just been equal on economy or income and tech. He would have been in front on that, allowing him to potentially have secured this gold mine, secured this corner, maybe denied this town center. And this game could have gone a different way as well for him. But I like the ideas. I like the strategy. Potentially also some more early one Udall and actually making a nice push in onto this position could have really made Count Von Count's life very, very difficult. But he didn't go for that and could not quite get anything done here with the Susanoo, unfortunately. If you guys enjoyed the game, make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.